Welcome back to my channel. For those that have seen my videos, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kamanzi Constable. I am a writer, a digital nomad, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19 years old. I'm 41 now, and I'm coming to you from our balcony at the Airbnb that we're staying at in Rome, Italy. So my wife and I are fully location independent. We don't have a permanent home base anywhere. We travel full time. We sold our house in September of 2021, and I've been traveling full time since. Puerto Rico was our first location. You can see some videos on my channel about that. Now we're in Rome, Italy. We also have a couples channel called Entrepreneurial Life, where my wife and I are doing videos together about our life here. But I'm just chilling out here on the balcony in our Airbnb. It's beautiful. I'll show you here through a B-roll what it actually looks like. But I'm chilling here, and I wanted to talk to you about 2021. So you may have come here because you clicked on the title as a little clickbaity, so I apologize about that. But I watch a lot of YouTube. YouTube is probably my #1 social media network. Maybe it might be YouTube, it might be TikTok. But between YouTube and TikTok, I watch a lot of video. I spend a lot of time watching video. As much as Facebook has been good for our business, and I am older, I'm 41, and that's technically Facebook's demographic. I see that the average user is 41 now on Facebook. I spend a majority of my time on YouTube and TikTok. And a lot of the videos that I'm seeing are kind of like 2021 recap videos. And I kind of thought about that. What was 2021 like for me? And I would say 2021 was kind of a transition year. So I told you that I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19 years old. And I had my first business was a service-based business. It was a physical business. It was a vacation relief service for independent vendors, meaning I had a service where we ran routes for people that were independent contractors. In that business that I started at 19 years old, it grew to $500,000 a year. I had 6 employees. We operated in 3 states, and it was a great business, but I did not understand how to manage the business. So while it brought in great revenue, I did not know how to manage that revenue. I did not know how to take care of taxes, and it was a mess. And so while that could have been a great business, I was always having to be in the business, which did not make it great. And I did that for 12 years. Now I sold that business in 2012, and the person that I sold it to is actually still doing the business today. And it's actually a model that could be done and done well, because if you're in the United States, every state that you're in, there's independent vendors. So whether it's the people that deliver Bimbo bakeries, that deliver Pepperidge Farm, Schneider's, there's and Hostess, and there's a lot of these vendors that you see that go to the stores. Those are all independent, and it's a good business. So I'll link to an article that I wrote about this business that I actually started for under $100 that grew to $500,000 a year within the first year. But it wasn't for me. In 2011, I started discovering this whole online world and the idea of content and digital products and courses and all that good stuff. And that's when I really jumped into what my passion was, which is writing. And from 2011-ish to 2021, so last year, my business involved working with clients. It involved doing fulfillment services, coaching, selling all kinds of digital information products. I've written and published 4 books. So it involved all the typical elements of an online business. But the thing that I came to realize last year, 2021, probably the biggest shift that's ever happened in my mindset, in my life, in my business, was that I realized I did not want to do client work anymore. I didn't want to work with clients. And it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. It was about March of 2021 where I started to understand that I didn't want to wake up and have a bunch of emails for clients asking for this and asking for that. Or I would do amazing work for a client and they would appreciate it, but they wouldn't really understand the full value of all that effort that I had just put into that. Or if you've ever worked with clients, the, hey, just checking in, which tends to be the hurry up, you're not moving fast enough email, right? Like I got tired of waking up. And when I would wake up and I'd see those messages and those emails, and when I did not respond to those emails, then people would start showing up in my social media messages. That's when I realized like this was not for me. I loved the process of creation, writing specifically. I love to write. I could do it all day long. And I did enjoy some of the ghostwriting projects that I have. So I love the process of creation. I love the process of creating like this, creating in this way. But I did not like feeling like I had somebody always over my head. And that's what it felt like with client work for me. Now, I'll preface that by saying that's my experience. That might not be your experience. Your experience and your mileage might be very different. You might be fine with client work. And if that's what works for you, I'd say that's what works for you and do what's best for you. But for me, it just did not work for me anymore. I needed something different. I needed a change. I needed to figure out how could I make money so that we could pay our bills, but in a way that felt good for me. And so in March of 2021, I really started to think about what does my ideal life in business looks like. And up to that point, I told you I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I hadn't ever thought about that. I left my parents' home when I was 17 years old. I got kicked out, came from a really deeply religious background. And because I wasn't going to be an evangelist and follow all of the rules there, I was kicked out, lived in a homeless shelter for 18 months, ended up getting 3 jobs to survive and to get out of that homeless shelter, got my first place, and kind of started really building my life at 18. And at 19, I had the opportunity to start this first business, and I did. And from that point, I haven't looked back from 19 to 40 years old. I didn't look back. I just always did what had to be done. I had to make money, had bills to pay, have a family to support. So I'm just going to do whatever it takes. So that meant doing client work. That meant working on projects I probably didn't work on. That meant taking on a lot of stuff that was kind of slowly killing my soul. And it wasn't until 2021 that I realized what was happening and how miserable I was. So in March, I made that decision. I started putting it out to all my clients and all the social media networks that, hey, in June of 2021, I was no longer going to be offering or working with clients in any capacity. So no coaching, no ghostwriting, no done-for-you services, no client fulfillment services of any kind. And I started to let the clients that still had services say, hey, this is your window to use those services. I will go over and beyond from now until that window closes, but it is going to come to a close. And of course, what's funny is when I kind of put those notices out there that this was coming to a close, people started coming out of the woodwork. People that had services from like 4 years ago that hadn't ever followed back up with me or just kind of went off on their way and life happened or whatever. And then they were coming back. Now, part of that is on me for not clearly defining the terms of what the scope of services would be, the terms of service. That's on me. So I own that. And it's also on me in the fact that I wasn't organized as I could be with my communication and with the systems that I was using. So I know that. But that all goes back to this idea that it's just client work wasn't for me. So I started having people coming out of the woodwork, like from years and years and years ago. And it was fine because this needed to happen. I needed that hard reset. I needed to shake the trees loose and see what would come out. And that's exactly what happened. So from March until the end of June, when I was fulfilling all the rest of the remaining client services, it was a really hard time. Life was not good at all. So I would say a good, like the first 6 months, the first half of 2021 was not the best time I've experienced in life for entrepreneurship. But I knew that this is what needed to be done. So I did it. Come July of 2021, I was officially done with client work. It was my wife's birthday month. She celebrates the whole month, my gorgeous wife. So we had a cruise planned to the Greek Isles. And I really, at that point, what should have felt free did not feel free, because I think I was still processing the trauma of all of this work that I had taken on in these months up to this point. And I was still kind of processing that trauma. And it was a lot of trauma. And I still had some people that would show up intermittently here and there, like, hey, you know, I just saw this email, did I miss it? And I'm like, yeah, I put this email out 100 times. I put this messages all over social media. I emailed you. Here's the email tracking to verify that I actually did send it to you and you actually did open it. I used email tracking software with all of my emails. And that's a tip for you that are working with clients, or maybe you're pitching editors or publications or whatever it is that you do. Use email tracking software. So I use tracking software. So I said, hey, I can tell that this was opened, but here's what I could do. So July-ish, August-ish, it was still kind of clearing some of that up. And I would say really by the end of August, all of it was fulfilled and done, and nobody was really showing up in my inbox at that point. But here's the question then. Without client work, without working with clients and getting paid for client work, how were we going to pay for our life? How were we going to pay for travel? So when we were on the cruise in July, my wife suggested, like, hey, we're empty nesters. All of our kids are in college, all of them. We don't have any little children at the house. They're all off in college doing their things. They're all adults. We do have 2 grandchildren who we love and we see all the time and we love dearly. But we don't have any children in the house. So we're empty nesters. Well, how do we want to spend our empty nest time? And we had this big house, 4,000 square foot house in Sarasota, Florida, 5 bedrooms, 4 bath. It had a pool. It had a huge yard. Like it was in a great neighborhood, but it was a lot of house for just my wife and I. And the housing market just happened to be what it is. It's still pretty hot, but it was hot. It's still hot, and we could sell it for a lot more than we purchased it for. So my wife's like, hey, why don't we do what we like to do so much? Why don't we travel full time? So we ended up putting the house for sale. And if you go back to my first vlogs on this channel, some of my first vlogs, you'll see that's the process of us selling the house and us taking the first steps in our digital nomad journey. And we did that. And then from there, we started figuring out, how do we actually want to wake up and spend our time? And for me, it's the process of creation and writing. Period. That's what it is. So I love to write and I love to create. So I love, like, this YouTube video is amazing. I love creating TikToks. I think it's absolutely fun. And I think it's great. I even like creating social media posts, even though I really hate Facebook. I hate Facebook. It's helped build our business. I just hate the platform. But there's still a lot of people that we're connected to there. But really venturing out and creating content. And just like that, through the magic of video editing, my gorgeous wife Cindy appeared. Ooh, cue the applause, cue the applause. This is my stunningly gorgeous wife. So beautiful. And for all you that watch my videos and you thought I made her up, you were wrong. She's real. Are you real?
I'm real. Okay. I'm actually here.
So I have one question for you.
Okay.
Because this video is about me talking about the things that I enjoy. And one of the things I mentioned was I enjoy content creation. And then in the video, I joked, I said, I'm not sure if Cindy enjoys content creation, so let's ask you. Do you enjoy content creation?
Not so much.
No.
I do the bare minimum of what I have to do because it's kind of required in today's day and age to run a business on the internet.
Now, what I did say in the video was Cindy enjoys speaking and training. Is that accurate?
I do.
So that was accurate.
Very much so. I'm most at home on a stage or training.
Because we do have this publish and paid program, and we do train in there. We have a live Q&A once a month. We have masterminds. We have guest expert trainings. And what I said was Cindy enjoys being on all those trainings.
Yes, I love all of that. I love working with our students and training them and helping the light bulbs go off with how they can use publications in their business.
You see, this is why I'm telling you that it's important to actually build a business with the elements that you enjoy. Cindy doesn't happen to enjoy creating content. We have to create content for our business as entrepreneurs. Guess what? I do enjoy creating content, so this thing works.
It works. So sometimes Kamanzi just scripts out my stuff for me, so I know what to say.
And I don't enjoy training as much. I enjoy our community, and I love the people that we have in there and that we're building. The training part,
So it works.
It works. So those are the things that I love to do. And I've written for a lot of places in my time online. I've written for over 80 publications, guest posted on over 60 blogs. I've written thousands of posts for my own website. So I've done a lot of writing online. I just needed to refocus. And for me, what I realize is I've been paid for by writing in the past, but I haven't got to that point where I've consistently made 5 figures or more a month for my writing. And that's what I set as my goal. Instead of just teaching the things that we teach, I want to get paid directly from these publications. So I went back to some publications that I contributed previously, like one of them was Ask Men. I asked, could I get back in? They said, yes, you can come back in. I said, here's the topics, and I'm getting paid monthly to contribute my articles there. I got involved in Medium. Medium's a new thing. I think I was sleeping on Medium, but Medium is a place where you can join their partner program, just like you could here on YouTube, and you can get paid for your articles and passively for your articles there. So I did that. And I've pitched a lot of publications such as Forbes and Inc. and Fortune and Fast Company. And these are all publications that pay people to write there. And so I pitched those, and I've gotten some responses, and I'm waiting to see which ones are going to accept me. And my goal really is to get to $20,000 a month directly writing from these publications. So instead of getting that $20,000, $30,000 a month from working with clients, it's getting that money directly from these publications. And then on the flip side of that, what we have, our main business is we have a program called Publish and Paid, where we teach entrepreneurs, content creators, writers, how they can get their articles published on Forbes, Inc., Business Insider, Entrepreneur, some of these publications that we've written for. We teach them how they can get published on there and become regular contributors there. So not featured, not press, not PR, but you actually regularly publishing your content on there and then also getting paid from some of those publications. And our community is amazing. We have rock star entrepreneurs in there. I love the community that we're built. And because it's a membership program, we get monthly revenue from that program. So those are the kind of things to work on. And my wife, Cindy, it's the same thing. She realized for her, I don't know that she really, I wouldn't say that she really loves the whole process of creation, but she does love sharing her thoughts. She does love getting on stage. She does love training, and she loves our membership. So it kind of worked out. And so come September, we sold our house. We sold it in 5 days. It sold in 5 days. It sold really quick. We started traveling full time. We kind of went to Wisconsin to visit our kids there. We're in Florida. We went to Puerto Rico for 6 weeks. That was our first digital nomad location. Our time there was really just about healing from all the trauma of the client work. So we kind of just took it easy and we chilled there, came back for the holidays, and then now first of the year, we came here to Rome. And since we've been here in Rome, we've been very, very productive. So we got a lot of day in the lives, show you what we do for our business, show you the publications that we're pitching, show you how we've built a very successful business. We'll show you all the behind the scenes of that. So we got some great content coming for you that way. But we've been productive here. We've been writing, we've been creating, and we haven't had to do client work, which I could tell you it took 6 months really to heal from that experience of all my life of having client work. It took that time to heal. And again, this is just for me. You might love working with clients. Your clients might love you. You might get great results. That's good if that's what works for you. And for all the clients that I have worked with in the past, I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm grateful that they chose to invest with me, that they chose to trust me with their businesses and with their voice and all the ghostwriting projects that I did. I'm incredibly grateful for that. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. So I don't want you to take that away from this video like that I'm bitter about the clients. I'm incredibly grateful, and if you have been a client in the past, thank you so much for your business. And I know that, and I hope that we're still friends, we're still connected, and for most of my clients, that is actually the case. But for me, my personality, what works for my archetype, my number one value in life is freedom. Freedom above anything else. I value freedom. And so for me, I want the freedom to wake up, to spend my days doing exactly what I want to do. I want to wake up and I just want to write. I want to wake up and I want to create some fun posts. I want to wake up and I want to drop some behind the scenes knowledge in our Publish and Paid program. That's how I want to spend my time. I don't want to wake up to emails asking me about this or that, or how come this isn't happening, or, oh, okay, that's great, but that's not what works for me. Freedom is my highest value. And the beauty of the internet is that you can build an education-only business, meaning it's you training, you getting on camera like this and training. It's you showing up to your group and training. You teaching people the strategy, exactly what they need to do, but the implementation and what happens next, that's all on them. So the issue that I had with client work was I took on a lot of the responsibility that would come to a successful result, creating pitches and doing things for clients. And all that responsibility was on me. But at the end of the day, this has to be a two-way street. And so the beauty of an education-only business is you give people the roadmap. If they decide to take it or not, that's not on them. But then that responsibility of what happens doesn't fall on you, it falls on them. And that's the kind of model that I love. So we have an education-only business. We have a business where we write directly for these publications and get paid for our writing. And I can tell you, I am happy. So while 2021 revenue-wise was not what it had been in the previous year, so 2019, 2020 record years in revenue for us. 2021 was actually about half of what we did in 2020. So our revenue was cut in half by the time we came to that end of the year with dropping that client work. But now it's started to ramp up again because we're getting paid directly from these publications. We're growing our membership community. We're exploring into affiliate stuff. So we're building up our revenue just in a different way than before. I mean, I'm not going to get into specific numbers here because I feel like that's a little tacky. But we're in Rome, Italy. We're digital nomads. Digital nomads locations tend to be Chiang Mai, Thailand, or Bali, or Medellin, Colombia. We're in Rome, which is in Europe, and after this, we're going to Lisbon, Portugal, and Nice, France. These are not cheap European cities, folks. So we're doing okay. Business is good. It funds our life, and we're happy with what's being built. And it's just going to continue to skyrocket for here. Why? Because we're actually doing what we want to do. We're actually spending our time the way that we want to spend it. We're spending it in a freedom-based way, a way that excites us, that lights us up, that brings joy and fulfillment to our lives, where we wake up with a passion for how we're going to spend our days. That's what excites me the most. So while revenue-wise, the year was not as good as it had been in previous years. It was about half of what it had been in previous years. It still paid our bills and gave us a good life. But we spent the end of 2021 putting the foundational pieces in place so that we can surpass what we've ever done, but do it in a way that feels good for us. And so that is one of the biggest takeaways that I could give you in entrepreneurship is you see Stripe screenshots, flashy images of success. Even here on YouTube, you got people flexing, and I watch a lot of YouTube. So I see a lot of a day in the life of a 23-year-old millionaire, or how I spend my days as a productive millionaire, or blah, 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 blah. And what you tend to see with a lot of those videos is somebody is trying to sell you on a certain lifestyle. They're trying to sell you on the opportunity, because if you believe in the lifestyle and opportunity, then you're going to believe the course or the service that person is selling. We're seeing this a lot now with cryptos and NFTs. There are a lot of people making a lot of money on cryptos and NFTs, but the thing that I want you to understand is wealth is silent. It's not noisy. If you look at some of the wealthiest people in the world, the Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they're not talking about their wealth. They're not flashing it. They're not flashy at all. Who's talking about it? The media. Us talking about it, right? They're not talking about it. The people that tend to talk about things like money, NFTs, crypto, day in the life of a millionaire, all that kind of stuff, tend to be the people that want to sell you on the lifestyle and sell you on the opportunity. And on the back end, they're going to sell you a course or a service that teaches you how to do whatever it is that they're selling. So if you see some noisiness, it tends to be from the people that want to sell you something. So that's what I see a lot of here on YouTube. And so you see those images and you see those people talking about those things, and you're like, is that what my business needs to look like? Is that what my life needs to look like to be successful? And the answer is no. What your business and your life needs to look like has to be in alignment with who you are and how you spend your time and what your values are. So is freedom your value? Is working, serving others your value? Is being with your family your value? Whatever your values are, clarity on those things. And then once you get clarity on what those values are, how does that look for your business? Is it working with clients? Is it educationally? Is it selling a product? Is it building a brand like this so that you can get sponsorships and YouTube AdSense so that you don't have to actually spend your time working all the time? It's one of the things that I'll encourage you with. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I'm 41 years old right now. I've made over $4 million in my entrepreneurial journey. Again, I have nothing to sell you here, so I don't have a course, I don't have a Discord, I have nothing to sell you. So I don't tell you that number to try to sell you on something. But I've made $4 million in my entrepreneurial journey. And most of that was made in a way that did not feel good. I would say it's a way that, in my mind, it's not clean, because it was doing things that made me die inside. So entrepreneurship is possible. There's amazing opportunities in entrepreneurship to generate revenue. But one of the best things that you can do, and the best advice that I can give you, is do it in a way that feels right for you. So take some time. Think about, what business model do you want? What are the elements that you want in your business? And make that decision of how do you want your business to look, and then start mapping out that plan. It's scary to think about not working with clients. It was very scary. And we didn't just jump without a net. We had a successful membership program that generated X number of dollars each month. So we knew that we had a revenue coming in each month. And we didn't just quit cold turkey and then just try to figure it out. So we had something good in place. But for you, map out, what does your ideal business look like? What are the elements, the models, the way you want to make your money? Then you can map out a plan, and in 2022, you can start putting that plan in place, and you could come to the end of this year with a business and a model that actually feels good to you, and that's only with the elements that you want to have in that business. And what you're going to find is it's going to bring incredible freedom to your life. You're going to feel good about how you wake up and how you spend your time, and you're not going to have that dread of feeling like you have this monster that's breathing over you. And that's kind of how I felt. So 2021, less revenue for us. We spend the end of that year putting the foundational pieces in place so that we can thrive in 2022 and beyond, but thrive in a way that is freedom-based and that feels good to us. And that's one of the best things that ever happened in 2021. So that's the challenge that I leave for you, is what do you want your life and business to look like? Take some time to figure out, put that plan in place, and let's get to work this year. And as far as my content this year on this channel, I'm going to give you all the behind the scenes of, if you're a writer, you're a digital nomad, you want to build a freedom-based business, I'm going to give you the behind the scenes of how do you do this successfully. I'm going to show you all the good stuff. I'm going to take you on vlogs. I'm going to take you on locations all over the world. So If you're not subscribed, if you're watching this, you randomly found this on YouTube, subscribe, because there's going to be a lot of good content. If you want to build a freedom-based entrepreneurial business and lifestyle, this is the channel for you. If you're a writer, this is the channel for you. If you're a digital nomad, this is the channel for you. And I'm just going to give you the real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to give you something that's inauthentic. I'm going to let you know the ups and the downs, and I'm going to give you things that I feel like you can use. 2021, it was a foundational year. Not the best year we've ever had in our business, but it was the best in the fact that we made the right moves for us. So come along on 2022.